sometimes the crazy things that happen can make the biggest impact, make your wedding the most unique. That is what makes yours special, is the things that go just a little bit crazy. Awesome. Hello, everyone. Hey, today, living in the moment, how to enjoy your wedding day. And I'm going to add, no matter what happens. Once upon a time, two people fell in love and got married. So this plot is my favorite kind of story. It is the same plot for so many other people. In fact, over 61 million people got married in the United States alone last year. But of all those millions, your wedding will be unique. And yours will be different, and yours will be personalized just for you because you get to decide all of the details. You get to choose the setting of your story. You get to choose the supporting characters in your story. You get to choose the timeline of your story. So you will plan out every moment of your entire day. Fortunately, just like any good story, yours will also be sprinkled with a little bit of drama. It's not good TV otherwise. I would like to make the claim that the things that go wrong on your wedding will be the best part of your story. It won't possibly be your favorite part, but it will certainly be the most entertaining. Now, you might not agree. Just hang out with me for a little bit. I will try to prove my point here. We're going to start with a story, the timeless classic, Twilight. Now, might not be the very best, but it is one that most everyone knows the storyline of. So, the plot of Twilight. Boy and girl fall in love. Boy and girl get married. The end. But wait, there was more, right? At some point, Edward wanted to eat Bella. But because he loved her more than food, he broke her heart, he ran away to Rome to get himself killed, and only at the very last moment did his true love run through the crowd and through the fountain to save him. Thank you. And there was more, right? Things that happened in this story that you as a reader or a viewer would never forget because there was a little bit of adventure, a little bit of the unknown that was going on in your story. Your wedding will be the fastest 8 to 12 hours of your entire life. So I remember my wedding in just chunks, in bits and pieces, aided by a photographer who, as a human, did not record everything that happened on my wedding day. I do not remember if I had a bouquet toss. I've been trying to think, did this happen? I think I remember my mom made a second set of flowers. I do not remember throwing it. And I have a theory, this is because it went perfectly. Nothing exciting or out of the ordinary happened. No one tripped on the way to catch it. I didn't hit the ceiling with my flowers. It fell 4 inches behind me. I had to do it again. None of that. It was perfect, and I have zero memory of it. Okay, my friend Allison says that she forgot her bouquet at home. And then they had to use all the bridesmaids' bouquets. They put them all together. They tied them together for her one bouquet. And then when she tossed it, it hit a fan. And it disintegrated, and it fell all over the room. And Allison will never, ever forget she had a bouquet toss. All right, so sometimes the crazy things that happen can make the biggest impact, make your wedding the most unique. Out of all those millions, that is what makes yours special, is the things that go just a little bit crazy. Christina says that taking a group photo with both sides of the family was almost impossible. We would have most of the family ready for the photo. Notice that a few were missing, so someone would go into the crowd to find the rest. would come back and a few more had disappeared. That's what happens when you get all the Portuguese together. There is too many to keep track of. Turned out to be one of our favorite photos. I thought that was pretty cool, that something that was going super crazy and she was very stressed about turned out to be one of her favorite memories. Sometimes the crazy doesn't turn into your favorite memory, but can still serve as a valuable reminder of what happened during your day. So Michaela said that we forgot to cut the cake until late into the evening. We ended up with almost 300 servings of dessert. Charlie said, my husband's pants ripped right down the middle. I didn't take Charlie's pictures, but here's another memorable pants ripping. Taylor said, my cake was wrong and they didn't deliver all the flowers that we ordered. Kelly said, I hated how my hair and makeup turned out. If you don't wear fake lashes, don't wear them at the wedding. If you don't wear contacts, don't wear them at the wedding. Stacy said, anything to do with flowers was done differently than discussed or planned. Nothing that any guest would have noticed or cared about, only frustrating to me because I had put so much thought and energy to have things look a certain way, and then it didn't. Heads up, things are gonna go wrong. Things are gonna be a little bit crazy, things are gonna be a little bit weird, they're not gonna go as expected. You're gonna hire vendors who, surprise, are human beings. So your vendors will do their best, but sometimes they're gonna drop the ball. Sometimes they're gonna have equipment failure. Sometimes they're going to get lost on the way to your ceremony and you're gonna push the whole wedding back by 30 minutes or so. Now, in literature, these are known as secondary characters. Secondary characters are those that show up for just a small chunk of the story, but still help to advance the story along. And your vendors will do the same, sometimes inadvertently adding a little spice to your story. Sometimes there's wind. Sometimes you go to Buell and there is wind and your crazy photographer takes you out into it anyway. Sometimes it's gonna snow or it's gonna rain or you're gonna have blistering heat, sometimes all in one day because it's Idaho. That's okay. Unfortunately, every once in a while, your supporting characters, your family and your friends, those who are going to be with you the entire day, the ones you love the most, seem to be the ones who are causing the most drama on your day. They're trying their best to make this, it seems like the worst day of your life, which I'm obviously probably not true, but it is hard. Family dynamics sometimes can be very difficult when the people you love the most don't love each other. Now, my advice to that is simply to try to ignore them, which sounds bad. So one of the things you can do is not invite them. But nobody wants to do that because you love them, and that's okay. So Mrs. Potts from Disney's Beauty and the Beast put it very eloquently. She said, people say a lot of things in anger. It is our choice whether or not to listen. My advice is to focus on your day. Put the things that they say on a shelf where you can come back and pick them up later if you need to, if you decide to. Focus on you. You can't change their mind and you can't make them be different. They have their own choices, but you have the choice not to pay attention to it. How do we change our mindset so we will be excited to push play and watch our day unfold, no matter what that means? On a recent trip to Boston with my friend, she lost her wallet. So the initial panic set in and we searched for this wallet and we tried to figure out how we're gonna fly home and things were a little bit crazy. But a few hours later, after we've gotten some things figured out, she looked to me and she said, you know, I wish it hadn't happened, but it's okay that it did. And I thought that was really amazing because there are a lot of things in our lives that, you know, I wish that didn't happen, but it's okay that it did. I am actually glad that not everything worked out at my own personal wedding. I wish that my shoes had fit. They were beautiful, but I'm more comfortable barefoot anyway. I wish that I'd had an apron on when I ate that barbecue sandwich. But because there's a big old stain on my wedding dress, I remember I ate a barbecue sandwich. I do not remember any of the side dishes because I did not make a mess with a side dish. I wish that my mom hadn't been so frantic in decorating for the reception that she had had time to get ready for the reception. But I will never forget how much work my mother put in for me on that day. As the difficult things come, take a deep breath and allow that moment to engrave a memory on your heart. A few years ago, working as a second shooter, I had the privilege of working at the Chateau des Fleurs in Boise. And it was a beautiful venue, beautiful bride, everything was magnificent, lavish, wonderful wedding. So the makeup artist had spent literally hours working on this bride. Like we were watching the clock and we were fiddling with our phones and we were just waiting. And when she was done with the bride, she moved to the bridal party, and when she was done with the bridal party, she moved back to the bride to put more makeup on the bride. And I did not understand why. I am not a makeup person, but even I could tell how important this particular element was to this bride. Fast forward to the first look with her dad. So the main photographer went to go get her father, and so it was just me and the bride and the building anticipation in this room. And suddenly she began to panic. And she looked at me and she said, "I am afraid to cry." And I looked at her, I said, "Just feel it. This only happens once. This is your wedding day. It's okay. It's okay to cry a little. It's okay to feel it." So we all want to look amazing on our day. Nobody wants anything messed up on purpose, for sure. But when you look back, your favorite memory about your wedding is not going to be how great your makeup looked. Your favorite memory is not going to be how amazing your cake was, even if it was amazing, even if it tasted wonderful. It might be near the top, but it will not be the top. It will not be your favorite. Your flowers will not be your favorite. It will be the way your dad looked at you. It will be when something touched your heart and you let yourself cry. So I took a gamble and I asked a few brides what their favorite memory was, hoping that they would agree. And what do you know? I was right. Thank goodness. Christina said, seeing him get emotional when I walked down the aisle was her favorite. Seeing my closest friends and family there with me, knowing how hard it was for them to be there, still means so much to me. Looking out during the ceremony and seeing that people that I didn't even know should be there was something special to me. Walking down the aisle and seeing all my friends and family surrounding us. Having my kids be involved with walking me down the aisle. Tossing my vows aside and speaking from the heart. The best man's speech. His words were beyond touching to both of us. Usually the best man's speech is all about the groom, but I feel like his speech will always be remembered. And this one's from a groom. Our first dance. It was the first time I didn't think about anyone else but the two of us. Smashing cake up the groom's nose was great too. It was the last time my daddy ever danced with me and sang with me. As well as he walked me down the aisle. By my wedding, he could barely walk. Dancing the night away with family and friends. My sparkler send-off. The 4th of July is my favorite holiday. I love fireworks so much because of how beautiful they are, and I love how the 4th of July brings families together. And I got to incorporate that in our special day with my closest friends and family, sending us off to the beginning of the rest of our lives. So, planning a wedding is incredible. Picking the details is so much fun, as it should be. Choosing Choosing something that reflects your love and your personalities is one of the most exciting parts of a wedding. But whether your story takes place at the Chateau des Fleurs or the Twin Falls County Courthouse, a wedding has always been, at its core, about relationships. So I'm not saying that it's going to be fun to watch your candles melt in the sun before you have a chance to light them. But you will never forget that it was hot enough at your wedding to melt your candles. And that is something that makes your day unique to anyone else's. You have the power over your reaction to anything that happens on your day. If you can come at it with the mindset that even the hiccups can write a memory on your heart, then you can say, I've enjoyed everything about my wedding. I am Tacie Wright. I am a documentary wedding photographer, and I believe in recording real things like love stories, even hiccups and all. Thank you.